Good afternoon, and everyone. Welcome into a live edition of the Dream Wager on this Feel Good Friday, September 3rd, 2021. Tag team in this episode, and joining me from the beautiful state of South Carolina, the legend Joey D. How are you, sir?
Doing well. We actually got the good part of the weather. I know you guys had a little bit of flooding. I hope everything's all right on your end.
Oh, flooding everywhere, people just abandoning cars. People with tow trucks, I'll tell you, they made a bank load of money the other
That's
day just
absolutely
picking up
right.
all these cars.
I heard about a little tornado as well. I hope everything was all right by you guys.
Yeah, I was down by Central Jersey.
Oh, how about
So
that?
yeah, T's and P's to them, but good to have you in. We got a loaded show for you guys today. We got an all-woman one-card fight that took place this morning. Got a top 10 showdown in the middleweight division tomorrow night. Week 1 plays in college football, and we wrap up our two-a-days and our final feature bets for the AFC West, and we'll finish up the show. No diamond today, no plays. Huh?
Yeah. MLB's a little shoddy at the moment.
Yeah, we're focusing right in football and college football. But Joe, how was it? I said the one came on. How was it?
Dude, it was actually very impressive, man. It was a landmark event because it was an all-women competitor event. It was
That's
16
awesome.
total women facing off, and it was culminating in the strawweight world championship between Zhang Jingnan taking on Michelle Nicolanini. And
Amazing pronunciation.
yeah, dude, I just think that it was a very impressive performance. They went the full 5 rounds in a championship fight, and hey, the
Wow.
champ, she retained her belt in a unanimous decision victory. So
Oh, that's amazing.
I like what one was doing there, and it was actually the start of their Grand Prix. So they're doing their own little version of what Bellator has done in terms
Oh,
of their
wow.
tournaments. So I think it's interesting how they're going about everything.
That's great. This is the first ever only women's
Yeah,
card.
absolutely. It's
great.
the first all women's card. And I think that maybe the UFC should follow suit or have
Mhm.
other promotions do the same thing to highlight the female competitors because it's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. We love to see that. Are they done now for a little bit? Because I know one has a promotion and then they go hiatus for a little bit. Is that the case?
Absolutely. I think there's a little bit of a hiatus for one, and I know there's a little bit of hiatus for PFL. We're going to also have Bellator come back relatively soon, but you know the UFC, they're going to be doing their thing, and they're just like the machine, man. They're going to keep rolling out each week.
Let's go. We got another fight night taking place. It's not actually across the pond. I double checked. It's in the Apex, UFC Apex.
Yeah, we got
But
UFC Vegas 36, man. I thought it as well. I thought they were going to take a trip across the pond because, you know, Darren Till, man, he's a fan favorite, especially if you get an event over in Liverpool. But I think there's still a little protocols going on that they don't want to get fans in the arenas over there. So, hey, they understand it takes all of us. So, it's a good thing.
exactly. Are you touching the prelims? Anything on there that
I
you
do like the prelims in this card, and I'm going to tell all you guys and everyone listening in, definitely listen and definitely watch the prelims because for the last couple of weeks, it's been extremely impressive. I'm impressed by all the fighters in the preliminary card. They're trying to get their names out there. We're getting a lot of finishes, a lot of first-round stoppages, and I just think they're coming to fight. So I won't be touching the prelims, but I tell you guys, definitely tune in, and I will be getting into the main card, though.
I only know a couple people. I'm looking at the prelims right now, like Jack Shore. He's fighting.
Yeah,
Um,
actually, he's taking on Palmy. He was on the
Yeah.
Ultimate Fighter, and that's a tough first fight for him to be into the UFC because Jack Shore is undefeated. The Welshman, I think he's actually come out victorious, even though
He's the biggest favorite.
Yeah.
Five minus 560.
he's an extremely impressive guy out there. And I think it's a tough, like I said, I think it's a tough matchup for. It was Shinolin Lidovic. I'm trying to
Yeah.
pronounce his name. Palmy, his nickname is, but yeah, I think it's a tough matchup for him because I had high hopes coming in for him out of the out of UFC Ultimate Fighter 29. But man, Jack Shore is a wrecking ball.
He's a beast. Early start time. Prelims start at 1 and the main card starts at 4 right now.
Absolutely, and a 4 o'clock start time for the main card. We're actually going to have the first fight of the prelims. It's actually first fight of the main card. Start with the debut of Paddy Pimblett. He's
Let's
making his
go.
debut, man. It was a high priced acquisition for the UFC because a lot of other promotions were willing to pay top dollar for this man. And his first fight, he's taking on Luigi Venturamini. And in this fight, I got to take Paddy Pimblett. And I think he's just going to take it by storm. I would kind of sprinkle something possibly on a first round finish, but
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not going to play it that specific. The specifics I will be taking is Paddy Pimblett via the submission at plus 340 because I
Oh,
think
nice.
he's going to surprise everyone. And he's got dirty guillotine chokes. He's got great Darce chokes. And if Luigi Venturini gets in a little bit of trouble against the fence, he might shoot in for a takedown, which will go right into Paddy Pimblett's game, which he can just sink in one of those long arm submissions and get it done. So Paddy Pimblett via submission is plus 340. I think the best odds that I saw here.
What weight class are they?
I believe he's making a debut at 155, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
So that 155 division is getting even more stacked with him, making a debut.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I can go right into the next card,
Yeah.
the next fight. We got Modestas Bukakas. He's taking on Khalil Roundtree in a shocking, surprising matchup here at the light heavyweight division. And a lot of people I saw early were favoring Khalil Roundtree. He's got great skill set. You know, he was actually a big dude, and he lost a lot of weight. And now he's, you know, super fit and super competitive and super athletic. But Modestas Bukakas, man, I think he's a problem in that weight class because we saw in a couple of his last fights. He fought I can't remember his name. Actually, I'm drawing a blank. The Polish fighter, it was Mikhail, King Mikhail, and they had a stand-up battle. But Modestas Bukakas got the best of him. He wound up victorious. And I think this matchup favors him well against Khalil Roundtree because I think he could finish him on the feet, or I can actually think he could drag it to a decision because Khalil Roundtree is rather tough. So if I were to go and put a bet on Bukakas, I'm taking him double chance. And that'll be TKO, KO, or decision at -135. He's that big of a favorite in the main card.
Yeah. On the money line, he's just a -146.
Yeah, it was surprising. It changed very drastically because, like I said, Khalil Roundtree was the favorite to begin with, but I think people didn't really know about Bukakas, and as soon as they started understanding who he was, they were like, we got to put our money on him. So, hey, the people know and Vegas knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right, man. And, hey, we're getting the return of the Great White in the next fight. Alex Morono, remember his last fight, he finished Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Looked very impressive there. He's taking on a tough guy in David Zawada, but David Zawada has lost his last matchup, and I just don't think that he's going to have enough to put against Alex Morono. Alex Morono is a tough dude. I think there's a chance of a finish in a sense, but I actually want to play it like this because I think David Zawada is a tough guy to actually go ahead and push it to a decision. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking Alex Morono via decision at +175. Getting good odds out of taking him via decision here.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a little stand-up battle. And like I said, I think Zawada's tough enough to push it along. So we'll see what happens in that event.
Let's
the
go.
co-main, oh, man, I think they're trying to bring all the British dudes, all the guys across the pond over here. And I got to go a little opposite with it, but everyone's favorite in Tom Aspinall. He's a big guy. He's a favorite in this. Big favorite in here, but he's taking on the Polar Bear. And then the last matchup, though it was rather sloppy, Sergey Spivak, he's no joke, honestly. I think the dude is, like, physically intimidating, and I think he can wear on Tom Aspinall. And since that he's such a big moneyline underdog here, Sergey Spivak is, I'll be taking him on the money line. So I got Sergey, the Polar Bear Spivak, money line at +194. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in this co-main event.
It's worth a sprinkle. I think he's a live dog.
I think he's a live dog as well. And Tom Aspinall, don't get me wrong, he made quick work of Andrei Arlovsky. He's been making quick work of a lot of guys, showing off both his submission ability as well as his stand-up. But like I said, this could be a trap fight, and I like Sergey Spivak in this little spot.
I like that. Nice co-main event to get us ready for this bar burner.
Yeah, this is a barn burner, man. And I went on and asked a couple people who they like just via the names, and a lot of people are like Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson is no joke in this main event.
No joke.
But he's taking on Darren Till. And we can't wait till the walkout comes out. Because even in the Apex, you know what's going to hit. Caroline. If we had the in the O2 Arena, or if we're out there in Liverpool or something like that, the crowd would be rocking with that song and the walkout. He is such a fan favorite. Darren Till, I think he's going to come in hot because he actually, if you remember, when he fought Robert Whittaker, he dropped Robert Whittaker. Nobody drops Robert Whittaker besides Izzy Adesanya.
Yeah.
So
didn't he lose by unanimous decision though?
He did, but the thing is, like I said, who drops Robert Whittaker? Only the highest upper echelon of strikers, and Darren Till is that. Derek Brunson, I think, to come out victorious would have to utilize some wrestling, where I think Darren Till's takedown defense will come into play and keep him at bay. So my official pick for this main event is Darren Till via KO, TKO at +145. I think he's going to get it done within 2 rounds.
You, as much as you do like Brunson, you think Till has the ability to knock him out?
Yeah, I just think that there is a little bit of a gap in the striking. Like I said, Derek Brunson to come out victorious, he's going to have to utilize wrestling. But I don't think that Darren Till's, wrestling himself is anything to sleep on. I think he has good enough takedown defense to stop Derek Brunson, who's not necessarily a wrestler. Derek Brunson is more of a striker. But if we're talking about a stand-up battle, I got to tend to go with Till. He's gonna put in that range. He's gonna keep him at bay, and I think he's gonna catch him on one end of the punches. And I think he finishes it with 2. I didn't want to go specific, so I'm willing to take Till via TKO or KO at +145.
One last question: does the 1.5-year layoff? I know he was supposed to fight in between that, but fights got canceled or whatever the case may be. But does that? I know I don't believe in ring rust, but Do you think that could be a factor?
No, not Darren Till, man. That dude's in the gym every day. You know, you want a little spa? You want a little spa? But Mike Perry, you know, they were like, "Oh, I thought you meant a spa with the water and the oil." No, you want a spa?
Okay.
Yeah, the dude's always in there. He actually used to train in Muay Thai in Thailand. So Darren Till is a multifaceted guy, and I just think that he's nonstop training. There's going to be no ring rust in this for either guy.
Amazing. I like you said, I also think that this is going to be a very interesting fight because both fighters are looking to lock themselves in as a top 5 competitor at 185. Brunson's on a nice 4-fight win streak against guys that were kind of rising in the division. He's 11-4 in his last 15, 22-7 overall. He has a little reach advantage over Till, but like you said, Till's better of a striker. And this is the first time he's fighting in over a year, coming off a loss to, like you said, Bobby Knuckles. Till hasn't had that much success as of late. He started 18-0, but he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He lost to Robert Whitaker. He beat Kevin Gastelum, but then he got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. I think the right guy is favored, but I think Brunson's a live dog. So I'm going to take a chance on the puppy. I trust Brunson a little more. I think he's on a mission. I'll take Brunson double chance to win by KO or points at plus 155. If you want to be safe and take Brunson on the money line, it's plus 152. Not big of a difference, but
that's not too bad at all.
Money. Yeah,
Derek Brunson has been on a roll, man. He's looking impressive in his past performance, but you know I gotta stick with Darren Till, man.
No,
I gotta hear that theme song.
And we're guaranteed to win.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. I like when we kind of fade one another out here. We're getting all the options out.
Absolutely. Is there fight night next week as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I might be in tune for a pay-per-view soon enough.
Yep. And after next week, I think there's a week off, and then it's Alexander the Great versus Brian Ortega.
Yeah, we've had a lot of movement in that, so we'll keep you up to date, of course, when we get closer to that pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into week 1 plays. Last night, OH, baby.
Yeah.
We covered by the skin of our teeth.
Oh, man.
Minus 13.5.
All that for a push, though, in terms of the total.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that hurt a lot of people. And
college football will hurt you, I'll tell you that.
College football hurt, and not only Ohio State, but did you see Coastal Carolina? Did you see CCU defeat Citadel 15-14 last night?
What a massacre.
Grayson McCall went 16 for 19, 262 yards and a touchdown through the air. Dude's an impressive quarterback. His sophomore season doesn't look like he's going to have a slump at all. That program is looking like a solid one, strong running game, tight-knit defensive group. And like I said, they had every starter on offense and defense returning. So,
and I think they're pretty well coached.
And they're definitely well coached. I think everything on both sides of the ball is very fundamentally sound.
Let's take it with a grain of salt. It is Citadel, but another undefeated season in the loom. I think it's a possibility.
Absolutely. And next week they're going to be at home taking on Kansas. So I think I want to get to that game. I got to watch that.
Kansas out.
That's right. Exactly.
But for tonight, there are a couple games tonight. They got so many on Saturday. They have one Sunday night. I have about 25 plays, but there's no time to do all that. But I got 4 confident ones. I want to start in the Big Ten with a matchup tonight. Michigan State versus Northwestern. These two teams are built on defense, and the numbers moved a little from 4-3. Northwestern, they lost a lot of key players last year, only bringing back 8 starters from last year, 4 on offense, 4 on defense. Definitely some question marks on both sides of the ball for me. And Northwestern's only loss last year was to the Spartans. For some reason, they struggle with them. And with the Spartans, they've gone to the transfer portal to improve their athleticism in a bunch of different spots. They have a grad transfer at quarterback from Temple Russo. But in this spot, I'm just going to have to lean with the team that has more athleticism across the board and who's returning more players, where I think there's going to be another low-scoring defensive battle. Northwestern in their last 5 seasons are 23-9 to the under when playing at home and 4-0 last year to the under. So if you want to play on the total and not the side, I totally get that. But I'm going to follow this theme. If Northwestern was so good last year, why is this number moving against them? I got to go with Mel Tucker and the Spartans. I think he's building another culture up there in East Lansing. I got it at 3.5. Sometimes it's down to 3 right now, but I still would take the 3 points in my pocket.
Seems like a trap game week 1 of the Big Ten season in the conference game. That's going to be a nice one right there.
And that's why I was saying about the under. There are a lot of trends that say it would probably be an under game.
Yeah, that's right. Early in the season, you tend to get under, but hey, college football is big over.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I took the under last night to the Ohio State game. Nothing.
So, hey, I'm glad you started in the Big Ten because I'm
Yeah.
actually going to be taking on a game that's tomorrow in the Big Ten. It's an out-of-conference game for Rutgers Scarlet Knights, but they're in the Big Ten, and the game's at 12 o'clock. You know I got to root on our guys and all my coaches over there.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers, I'm going to be taking them minus 19.5. I think they're going to blow out Temple. They did it last year. They're going to repeat this year, and I'm getting odds of plus 200 for it. I don't think you can go wrong. That's not the actual line. I actually teased it a little bit because the actual line is at 14.5. And I was like, 14.5, that's not my cup of tea. I would think they're going to win by at least 20. That's why I took the 19.5 at plus 200.
Yeah, they're definitely going to win by 2 touchdowns. Temple, and I think Greg Schiano, he's building that program up again, especially the coaches as well from Rutgers. They took Michigan, even though Michigan had a down year, but Rutgers wasn't that good. They took them to triple overtime last year.
They should have won that game.
So yeah, I think that's a great alternate spread it to get a little more plus money. But if you do want to just hammer the minus 14.5, I think that's a lock as well.
Yeah, I think it's a lock. I think they're gonna have, like you said, minimum 2 touchdown victory, but I'm thinking even a 20-point spread.
Let's stay in I got another Big Ten matchup. We have Saturday afternoon, Indiana versus Iowa. Ooh. A lot of people are high on this Iowa team in the Big Ten this year.
I heard that.
They're laying 3.5 at home. I think this is a very intriguing matchup. Everything went right for the Hoosiers last year. They went 6-1 straight up and 7-0 ATS in Big Ten play. Iowa also lost a lot of pieces. A lot of D-backs, their safeties. They lost their defensive coordinator. But Iowa and I think their coach's name is Kurt something. He's done a good job at replacing the guys up front. But I'm going to attack the total in this game. Iowa is 9-2 at home to the under in the past 2 years. We know what Iowa's going to want to do. Control the clock, the line of scrimmage, and they want to run the ball. I hear this from you just got to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. I think if you control the line of scrimmage, games are won and lost that way. I don't care how many wide receivers or 5-star recruits you have. If you win the line of scrimmage, I think you could win the game. So I know this number's been dropping a little, but I got it at 46. I think I'm going to ride the trend of a low-scoring game.
I like it. Like we said, Big Ten is very high defensive matchups. Very
What's
competitive.
Your next game you got?
And I'm actually going to go ahead, and the next 2 matchups that I got are both going to be featured on ABC, which will be tomorrow. I'm taking the first one at 3:30 in the afternoon. That'll be Bama taking a trip over to Miami, taking on the U. And, oh, boy, I don't think the U is going to be that competitive against Alabama. You down. So, hey, right now I actually did another alternate spread. I'm taking Bama minus 23.5 at plus 134. Wow. I think they're going to have a minimum of a 24-point ball game victory. I think they're going to blow them out of the water. You know, the first half is always Bama's game. They get out to an early lead, and it very well could be like 42-7 in the first half. And that's something that I see, especially in the second half. They're going to lock down defensively. They're not going to need to score that many points. But, of course, that big of a lead, it'll hold on to it through the full game.
Yeah, I think even though they lost a lot of offensive weapons, these top programs, they don't recruit. They just rebuild. They draft.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Saban's on top of it.
Yeah, and I got that is one of my games. I took a minus 16.5 early in the week. I think it's up to 19.5 right now.
It's keep going up.
I would still take it at 19 if you want to alternate to. I think they're at least 24, maybe. I think, as fucked up as it is to say, I think Miami is not even going to be in the game. Alabama's the type of team that if you're ever in a fight, they're the type to punch you in the face first and see how you're going to react.
Yeah.
And I don't think Miami's going to react well.
No.
At all.
So
I like that one too.
Right on.
We got to go to probably the best opening game.
I think you have the same one I have.
Yeah. So let's go there. It's in Atlanta, Georgia versus Clemson.
Let's go.
Probably the best game week 1 I've ever seen.
On ABC.
Yep. I lean Georgia plus 3.5. I like it, but I don't love it. Clemson's just been beaten up on ACC teams, but then got smoked the last 2 times going to the playoffs. I got to see more from them. They got to prove it to me. And I think this is the perfect opportunity against a good Georgia team. I know they won the championship in 2018, but I just got to see it from them. They haven't been good either in single-point spread games. Last year, Clemson was 0-2 as a single-digit favorite. outright and ATS. They were -7 points against Ohio State. They wound up losing by 21. -5 favorites at Notre Dame, lost by 7. Granted, Trevor Lawrence was out, but still, they had DJ, and he's a 5-star.
And he's their quarterback now.
Yeah, he's their quarterback. I will never say his last name. 1, because I don't want to butcher it, and 2, I don't know how to say it.
I think it's Ugalele. It's literally just like that.
I've heard so many different pronunciations, Joe. I'm done. I'm just going to say DJ.
Yeah, DJ.
But with Georgia, they do have some injuries at wide receiver position, like Pickens is out. But I like this Georgia team. Their quarterback, JT Daniels, he's shown great signs. He has a huge arm. He pushes the ball deep. They have good running backs, and they're going to need to be able to run the ball well. I know how cliche that is, just saying to run the ball well.
But it's true.
But it's true. If you control the line, like I was saying, and you run the ball well, you take pressure off of your quarterback. And I think that's going to be a key. And this defense is going to be really good, especially in the in-game adjustments. They got Will Muschamp as their defensive coordinator now. I think that's big. It should be a tight game throughout. I don't expect it to be pretty at all, but this roster and the way Kirby Smart has recruited, I think they're made to withstand injuries. It's going to come down, like I said, to Georgia having to own the line of scrimmage on both sides. Because if they don't, I think Clemson could rally on them. So I'm going to lean with the points. I got it at +3.5. I think it's down to 3 right now, but I got Bulldogs +3.5. And just some keynotes on these two teams that I found that were pretty interesting. SEC teams in top 5 non-conference matchups are 20-4 straight up, 18-6 ATS in the last 20 seasons. And this is the first time an SEC team is an underdog since 2013 BCS championship.
Wow.
So that says
fair
something.
as well for the SEC.
Yeah, and on the total, under Kirby Smart, overs are 0-5 in Georgia season openers. Overs are just 5-14 in the months of August and September under Kirby Smart. So maybe you want to lean to under 51.5 is high total. So maybe I think this is going to be a defensive matchup.
I was going to say, I would tend to think this is going to be more defensive of a matchup than an offensive one.
Where are you going for this game?
So that's right. I am touching this game, man. It's at 7:30. And like you said, it's in Atlanta, but Clemson is technically the home team. But you know that stadium is going to be packed with Georgia Bulldog fans. You know that's going to be the fact.
That's a home game for them.
That's a home game for them, even though Clemson is technically home. And not to be a homer or anything, but, man, that's South Carolina, and that's where I'm at, and I'm sticking with Clemson here, man. I just think that, like you said, a lot of the matchups in the early of the season, they wind up in the line of scrimmage. And though Clemson has lost a lot of key features on offense and defense, they also recruit very well. They got the number 1 defensive line recruit in the nation, Brian Breesy. He's going to be starting as a freshman for them. This dude is like 6'9", 300 pounds, all muscle. Like, he's not the only one that they're going to have there. And DJ Ugalele, how we talked about, the man is, I think, a big quarterback. I think he can always pull it down and run if he needs to. I think he can also throw the rock very well. I think it was hard for him to step into Trevor Lawrence's shoes. But now with the reps, everything in the offseason, and the fact that he is guaranteed the starting job, all confidence is behind him, and I think he's going to lead the team to victory. You tend to think that this might be a closer matchup. I'm hoping it's not, to be honest. Not to be that much of a homer, but I'm thinking Clemson could run away with this game. You know Dabo is going to have these boys playing. I like Kirby Smart. I like everything that Georgia has been doing. But, man, first game of the season for them, they're going to want to make a statement. And by making a statement here, they're going to have to win by at least a touchdown. So what I did is I boosted the score. I did an alternate spread, and I took Clemson -6.5 because I think they win this game by at least a touchdown. And that gives you odds at +120. And that's what I'm sticking with.
I think the key for Georgia is they got to do what Ohio State, not to be a homer, but if they did what they did in the playoffs, run up tempo, because Clemson likes to have a set, perfect defense. Every time the defense lines up and the offense makes adjustments, they're looking over to the sideline to see what they got to do. If you run a little off, little up tempo and make it not for them to get in formation, I think that sets well for the offense for Georgia. But I could see a blowout. I mean, it does worry me that this team is going against Georgia. So that does worry me a little, but hey, we're all that. I know that's going to be an amazing game.
Absolutely. So. Hey, ABC did the right thing getting those 2 games on the marquee.
Absolutely. Last game I want to talk about is Sunday night game, Florida State, Notre Dame.
How about that?
Oh, man, this is an interesting game. Notre Dame has a very tough schedule, starting at Florida State, where they opened up an 11-point favorite. It's now down to 7. So They got Wisconsin on the road. They're home for Cincinnati, USC, North Carolina. They do go on the road to Virginia, Stanford's, which I don't think are going to be easy games.
Still a trek.
Yeah, and I don't think this game's going to be easy either for them. It's on a standalone game, national televised week 1 with a new QB, Jack Cohen. He was the starter, but he was up and down at Wisconsin, kind of a game manager. It will be interesting to see how he adjusts at Notre Dame. They're only returning 9 starters, 4 new offensive linemen, 3 starters on offense. I just think this is too early in the season for this hard of a test on the road. So, and Florida State's returning 17 starters. I'm going to take the points. I got it at 7.5. I still would take the +7 with Florida State.
Absolutely. I like that.
Any more for you?
No college other football plays, man. I'm just in it to win it, man. I can't wait to see some college football action.
Absolutely. It's going to be amazing this weekend. Thank you for that. Elvis has a couple plays as well. He's not with us, but every college football is on his Action app, so just make sure you check that out. Joe, we're only 6 days away from the start of the NFL season.
Let's go.
We're gonna finish our 2-a-days and probably another, I think, underrated division. I think there are a lot of sleepers in this division. Maybe not the Raiders, but
but both the West squads, both West divisions, AFC and NFC, seem to be like the best ones in football. To be honest, most competitive.
Yeah, I agree. Joe, I'll start with you. You have a couple futures in a couple teams, correct?
Yes, I do. I'm taking a pair of teams today. I don't think you're on the same boat with me. I don't think there was much value with the Chiefs at all in this upcoming season.
No, the only thing that I found value in, and I think that's what Elvis took, it's on his Action, is he took the Chiefs over 12.5 wins at +120.
A lot of people were thinking that they were going to threaten being an undefeated team, which is always a chance with the talent that they have, but it is hard to do in the NFL. It is certainly hard to do.
And I think when people are going up against the Chiefs, the Bucks,
they're going to want to play their hardest.
They're bringing their hardest every time.
Their week of practice is going to be full throttle. So they're going to come and bring in their A game.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm taking a pair of teams. I'm going to be touching the Chargers and the Raiders. And, of course, the Chargers I'll get into first because I'm getting plus money in both of the little futures I have here.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a team that I think is a sleeper team. Like I said, I had the AFC East. I had the Bills and the Patriots making the playoffs. In the AFC North, I had the Browns and the Ravens making the playoffs. AFC South, I did have the Colts making the playoffs. That might be a little sketchy at the moment. But in the AFC West, man, I'm thinking the Chiefs, and I'm thinking the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. And for the Chargers to make the playoffs, it's plus 110. So there's some plus money there for you. And for them to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win some games. Right now, their win total is at 9.5. And I think they need to at least win 10 games, but I think they might even need to win 11. They might need to win 12 to even make it into the playoffs. Be like one of the second or third wild card teams there. And with that, over 9.5 wins, that's also plus 110. So you're getting plus money for both of these. You compound them. They get over their win mark. They get into the playoffs. You're going to have Justin Herbert. He's going to have a year to shine. I don't know if he's going to have MVP season that like Mike Greenberg's projecting in a sophomore year. Yeah, granted, he was a top 5 quarterback in his freshman year, like his first year, rookie year. But I don't see it. I don't see there's going to be a chance for him to win the MVP award in his second season. He does have weapons offensively. He's going to have good running backs coming out of the backfield to catch the ball for him. So I think his stats will reflect very well. And like I said, the win percentage and the wins are going to come into play. But in terms of his single awards, I don't think that's necessarily going to come out true. They have a new coach. No, Anthony Lynn is returning, correct? Or
No.
They do have a new coach, and he's an offensive guy. So I think that they will have success offensively. They need the defense to step up a little more to win all those games. But I have high hopes for the Chargers, and like I said, I'm going to be thinking that they make the playoffs at plus 110 and get over their win mark at 9.5 at plus 110 as well.
Elvis, he just sent me his AFC West futures. He is on the opposite side. Chargers not to make the playoffs at minus 154.
It's big favorite that they will make it.
No, that they won't make it.
They won't make it, exactly.
I guess his reasoning is just because new coach, a lot of different pieces he has to fill. He says they're a borderline 8-9 win team, so that's right at their win total. But I think you're right. They have to win at least 10 games.
They need to,
because the AFC, a lot of teams have improved.
That's true. Absolutely. I just hope that Brandon Staley coming in. We've seen it before. Some of these first-year coaches, it makes a big difference, and I think it could be true for the Chargers.
I mean, anything was better than Anthony Lynn last year.
Yeah, that's true. So, hey, I'll go right into the Raiders and what I got for them. like we talked about, this is going to be a competitive division. And I think with John Gruden at the helm, Derek Carr, I think, is one of the most slept on quarterbacks. I really do. I really still have faith in the man. I every year that I see him go out there and play, he's working with bits and scraps. Now he has Kenyon Drake. Now is Josh Jacobs in his second year. He's got a running game now. He's going to have an offensive line that is going to be a little bit stronger. Though they lost Gabe Jackson to the Seahawks, I feel like they're going to be improved in that side of the ball, be able to run it and not put so much pressure on Derek Carr. And though that may be contrary to word of the player prop I'm going with, I got Derek Carr over 25.5 passing touchdowns on -115. Like I said, he's got those 2 running backs now, and he's got a good offensive line. I just think that, remember how good of the connection he was with Darren Waller last year. Darren Waller is going to have 10-plus touchdown receptions this year handily, and that's a tight end. I think he's going to get another 10 maybe to his receivers, and then you got these guys can catch the ball out of the backfield, especially Kenyon Drake. So they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to take some pressure off the defense, as you said, off Derek Carr. And I just think that, Derek Carr is going to have some garbage time points. He's going to have some touchdowns that he's going to receive. And I like the over, even though both ends of it, if you went under or over, was -115. I'm going to tend to side with the over for him at 25.5, -115.
Elvis's play for the Raiders is Raiders over 7 wins at -1.
Hey, and I'm also following suit with that. I think minimum, their floor is an 8-win team. This is a good football program. I think the move to Las Vegas is now starting to settle in for them. Everyone's making it at home. And this is going to be a team that you don't want to go over to Las Vegas to play in Allegiant Stadium. You don't want to go in the black hole.
They also have a great stadium. It's amazing.
Beautiful stadium.
They also have Henry Ruggs from Alabama.
Exactly. Blow the top off the defense. He's going to have a good year. I like this team. I think they could be a little surprising. I think the 2 teams that I took here, the Raiders and the Chargers, they're going to be the 2 competitive ones in the AFC West to get, into the playoffs. They're going to try to make it.
I think that just John Gruden, excuse me, he can't afford another losing season or a mediocre season.
He still has 5 years left on the contract.
That's ridiculous. Like he's been a big disappointment in my opinion. So they brought him in for championship expectations, and it hasn't been that at all. So that's my take on the Raiders. I'm not very high on them, but
all right.
We'll see. For me, I have 2 plays on the Broncos. I like week 1 versus the Giants -2.5. This Denver team is very interesting. They have a bunch of young receivers. And like I said, Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater, my guy. He was named the starter a couple days ago. He was 7th in completion percentage last year. And I feel like he gets overlooked a lot because of his injury history, but he's a solid quarterback in my eyes. And on defense, they get Von Miller back from injury. They drafted Patrick Surtain, who we've seen could be a stud in this league. I think the right team is favored, so I'll lay the -2.5 points on the road versus the Giants here in MetLife.
Not bad.
And the second play I like is a player prop. Cortland Sutton over 950.5 receiving
Only
yards.
950? Wow.
I think this is a buy low number. He only played 31 snaps last year before he tore his ACL, so maybe that's why we're seeing this low of a number. But in his second season, he had 1,112 receiving yards. He's already done it. He's gone over this number before. Just look at the QBs he's worked with: Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, Drew Lock. Now they bring in a guy like Teddy Bridgewater who's accurate and will get you the ball. Also, they have Jerry Jeudy on the other side, another young receiver who's going to give him more favorable matchups. I got to go over 950.5 receiving yards at -112.
He's a talented receiver. I like that player prop.
So I think that's a good buy low spot.
Great stuff.
Oh, and Elvis's play is Broncos to make the playoffs at -190.
Wow. +190. Great odds, man. Might be worth a little sprinkle if they do come to play this year.
Yeah,
Teddy Bridgewater win you games.
Yeah, I think the Broncos and the Chargers are going to fight for that number 2
You're
spot.
not high on the Raiders.
No, I think they're a couple years away.
Absolutely.
They don't got the pieces on defense in my eyes. Abrams a nice safety, but
they need a little more.
Yeah.
Understandable.
And do you have anything on the Chiefs?
No, I didn't. Like you said, we didn't see much value there. I did like what Elvis was talking about, but I wanted to stay away from them. So, hey.
Yeah, I don't have anything for them as well. It was hard to find value. I think you got to pick your spots with them, especially week in to week out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's going to be it for us. No MLB plays for us. If we do have it, we'll put it up on our action app. But right now, we don't have you.
It's football season, baby.
Football, we gave you a lot of picks for MMA, college, and NFL. Joe, any last words before we get up out of here?
Just enjoy the weekend. Everyone have a safe one. You know, we appreciate everyone tuning in.
Labor Day, everyone be safe.
Labor
Don't
Day
drink
weekend.
drive.
Absolutely right. Everyone's going to be around, so please be aware.
I do want to tell our audience that in light of the NFL season approaching us, we will be rolling out 3 episodes a week now. Monday and Fridays will stay the same, but we will now have an episode every Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Get us ready for Thursday Night Football. But just want to relay that message. Can't wait for that. So hope you guys enjoy. We will see you guys on Monday with more picks, hot takes. Everyone have a great weekend. Be safe. Good luck on your picks. Please follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at The Dream Wager. Please subscribe, rate, review. All that good stuff helps us out tremendously. Be a friend, tell a friend, and everyone, best of luck.